New episode of The Real Deal. This will be the 2023 Sports and Media review show. Let's get it. Welcome to another what up? Welcome to another exciting episode of The Real Deal. I am your host, as always, Courtney Harden. This is The Real Deal Podcast 2023 Sports and Media Year in Review Show. So we'll be recapping the year of the 2023 in sports and media. So much news, so much sports, so much things happened in 2023. I had to go back and from January all the way to now. So I hope everyone has enjoyed their holidays. I hope everyone enjoyed their Christmas. And so happy holidays, Merry Christmas. And the new year will be here in a couple of days, New Year's Day 2024. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back. I was home in upstate New York the last 2 weeks, enjoying some good family time, enjoying, family and friends, had good food, great conversations, just relaxing and just enjoying the time with family. So I hope everyone got to enjoy that time during the holidays. But I was out for about 2 weeks, but back in Philly, ready to roll and everything. So you can follow the show as always, again on all podcasts and social media platforms. Podcast platforms that's Spotify, Google Play, Apple, Anchor, Spreaker, all the platforms there. You can follow also on Roku. That's the main channel, the BS3 TV app on the Roku. Download the app BS3 TV and download, and you can get all the shows, all the shows from the network. Shout out again to the entire network who had an incredible year as well in 2023. Got to cover some games, and a lot of great show, a lot of new shows, new episodes there. Cover games and interviews, big sports stars and things like that. So it's been a great year. It's been a great year for the BS3 network. So shout out to Ben Sudduth and the entire BS3 network team. You can follow The Real Deal on Twitter at Get The Real Deal. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/Get The Real Deal. And Instagram, follow me there, CJ Harden _79. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook as well. That's everything. Like I said, you can follow. This is just all the show. You download, and you can download the app, bs3network.com, bs3tvlive.com, where you can also get all the shows there as well. So let's get this started. We are live. I said live on Roku, live on Facebook, YouTube. The YouTube channel, youtube.com/BS3 Network. I'm also live on Instagram. What up, Instagram Live? If you guys have any questions or comments, you want to, what's the biggest story? Because this is the, again, 2023 Sports and Media Year in Review. If you have anything you want to comment on, or what was your biggest story, get in the comments, get in the chat on Facebook, on YouTube, and Instagram. Like I said, there's so much news and there's so much things happening in 2023. So let's start. I got a list here. I was trying to narrow it down to 7 to 10, but I think I got more. I was just doing my list. So my list is here. If you can see it, it's there. I got a couple of pages, as there was so much I had to go back and recap everything. But like I said, if you have any comments, like you want to shout out, your team if they won a championship in 2023, please do so. But let's get into this. Some of the biggest story and headlines of the year in sports and media. I think one of the biggest. I'm gonna start here. I think one of the biggest in sports and media in general, one of the biggest stories was the layoffs and cutbacks, which impacted sports and media and the print and digital companies, and also major networks, television, radio. I mean, there was so many layoffs, and layoffs are not easy. They're it's not easy to deal with. It's hard to talk about people losing their job, people that have been in their jobs and their careers for many years, and to get that pink slip saying that you've been laid off. Now, I've been laid off before. I've dealt with layoffs before with companies I've worked with, and it's hard because your coworkers, your friends, even the upper management. When that happens, it's just not easy to talk about. It's very hard and very sad to see people losing their jobs. You don't want to see anybody lose their jobs or their careers because of layoffs, and it happens. And I know it's business and things like that, but it's still a hard thing to decipher and everything too. But in this regarding the layoffs and cutbacks that impact the sports and media from the print and digital companies and major networking. You had ESPN, NFL Network, Barstool Sports dealt with it, The Athletic, New York Times, Sports Illustrated, all the cutbacks. One of the major companies, the New York Times, they eliminated their entire sports department and moved their coverage all the way to The Athletic. Now, you think about it, the New York Times, one of the biggest newspaper companies, has no sport. They basically eliminated their entire sports department. And I mean, all those writers, all those talented writers that lost their jobs or had to move to a different company like the Athletic, which just for them, like I said, just to eliminate their whole entire sports department. That was it, and now the coverage is all on the Athletic. Over 20,000 jobs from media industry was cut. 20,000. That's big. Like that's a huge number. 20,000 over 20,000 jobs cut from the media industry. And here's some of the big names that that were cut or were laid off, I should say. Jeff Van Gundy, Susie Colbert, Keyshawn Johnson. This is just from ESPN. Max Kellerman, Steve Young, Jalen Rose, Mark Jackson, Andre Ward, Vince Carter, and the list goes on and on. There's people behind the scenes, people behind the cameras, producers, like someone like Susie Colbert, who covered the NFL for ESPN for over 27 years, and she gets laid off because of budget cuts, because of whatever the reason was of all these cuts and things like that. It's crazy. What up, CJ? Thank you for coming on and commenting. Let me know, man. Let me know what was your biggest story of 2024 there. He said, fly, like it was fly. So yeah, he's a big Cowboys fan. So shout out to him. Thanks for always supporting. But to get back with these names, Jeff Van Gundy covered NBA. Like that was like surprising. Keyshawn Johnson and Jalen Rose, people that have done such great, tremendous work. Max Kellerman, boxing, and he was on First Take and had his own show. Mark Jackson, Max Jackson, Van Gundy, all those talented, broadcasters and analysts lose their jobs and they laid off or didn't get their contracts renewed because Disney itself was trying to save money. So and that's what it was about. And so it was about shedding contracts, limiting contracts, and trying to save money. And like I said, it's a cutthroat business, and that's not just in the media and sports. It's a cutthroat business in general, in businesses who would have to have layoffs and things like that because they're cutting salary for that reason. So yeah, it was that was some of the biggest news. That was one of the biggest news in 2023 in sports and media. The layoffs and all those names, and there's so many. He said he thinks the biggest story. Let's go to the media. The biggest story of this year was the growth of Shannon Sharpe, the exposure of Skip Bayless. Yeah, and media definitely, because with all those layoffs and with all those cuts, um, that someone like Keyshawn Johnson who got laid off from ESPN, now is on Undisputed with Skip Bayless. So he picked up and got him a job. Michael Irvin, another one who got let go. He got let go for other reasons, but he got let go. But now he's on the new Undisputed, and that they lose. Shannon Sharpe leaves. He goes to First Take, and now with Stephen A. Smith. So the landscape of even moving parts, even with the layoffs, moving parts. Pat McAfee, these FanDuel TV brings his brand to ESPN. That was another big move in sports media. You had that. So yeah, lots of different things happening. Like I said, Shannon Sharpe, the growth Shannon Sharpe. I believe in Shannon Sharpe. He just won. I think the complex uh, dropped an article a couple weeks ago of I think it was a top 25 biggest or who had the most impact in 2023 in sports media, and Shannon Sharpe was number one. And I think it's well deserved for Shannon Sharpe. I think he was the most interesting and most engaging uh, personality in sports media. And for him to leave Skip Bayless and Undisputed for the things he explained, like what happened on his side, he just felt like he wasn't getting the respect anymore from Skip. He leaves Fox Sports, FS1. He goes to ESPN. They pick him up pretty quickly, and he was probably the most sought after sports media personality this year. And then he goes to First Take, and I like when he's on there. I like Shannon Sharpe. He's been on fire this year, so he definitely deserved that award. Oh yeah, I totally agree. The comment from CJ as well, saying that yeah, he's definitely been on fire. And what he's doing with his brand, is just growing and growing and growing. And Shannon Sharpe's doing well, so that was another big story. A lot of different sports personalities moving, and Rachel Nichols, another one who had got fired from ESPN a couple of years ago, now is on Undisputed and everything too. So uh, yeah, I'm going right through it. Yeah, let's go to that one. That'll be the next topic. Another big showing was Coach Deion Sanders, prime time. Deion Sanders really enjoyed his speeches and time with Colorado, and he took over college football for the first month. I mean, ratings were through the roof, and how he came in, and how he recruited and really put Colorado on the map for that, especially that first month. And he was the talk of college football, and a lot of the other coaches didn't like how Deion was. And we already know Deion was like this as a football player, big personality. So he comes in college football, and as a coach, it does the same thing. Just took the league by storm. And as I said, for the first few months, he was the talk of college football. Now, Colorado was competitive for that first month, but then they bottomed out and lost, I think, like 7 of their last 8, something like that, 8 of the last 9. I know they started out 3-1, and lost like 7 straight, something like that. So then it just wasn't like that. But for that first month, Deion Sanders was the biggest story in college football. So yeah, that was another big thing. And other news, other highlights in the review in my 2023 sports and media year in review. I got to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go talk a little NFL. And on that side, Kansas City Chiefs beating my Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. But one of the biggest things that the game was tremendous. It was back and forth. Eagles took the lead, had the lead for a while, and then Patrick Mahomes came back, led them back, and it was back and forth. It was close. It was Jalen Hurts versus Patrick Mahomes, two black quarterbacks going at each other, going against each other, and it was. But one of the biggest stories, the ending wasn't the best because it was on a penalty, ended on a penalty, and Kansas City Chiefs just held the football, smart play, and they win by a field goal. But one of the biggest stories, not the Kansas City just winning, but 115 million viewers. It was the most watched show of all time. 115 million people watched the Super Bowl between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. So that was a big, big story in the NFL this year. Also, another one, Aaron Rodgers leaving the Green Bay Packers. That was a big, huge story. The hype of that going to the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers, who played for the Green Bay Packers for 15, 16 seasons, and they was traded to the Jets. The hype and the hoopla of that, and then they're on Hard Knocks. Aaron Rodgers, big personality, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And then New York Jets, they're talking the end of the off season, heading into this season, and then 4 plays into the season, Aaron Rodgers, and this was on 9/11 in New Jersey, the MetLife Stadium, playing the Buffalo Bills, Monday Night Football, first game of the year. I said 9/11, and Rodgers comes out with the flag. I mean, the hype of that game and the magnitude of that game. If you go back and watch that, just the hype of that, it was so big, and it was going to get like high, like very high ratings. And 4 plays into the season, in the snap of a finger, the New York Jets season is over because Aaron Rodgers, at 4 plays into it, tears his Achilles. And if you would have just saw the stadium just went quiet, just went dark after that, almost like you couldn't even hear a pin drop. And this is a football game. Like this is a NFL game. And the crowd just in disbelief. It's like the New York Jets said, "Oh, we got our quarterback," because he said they haven't done much of anything in any relevance in years. And then this happens. They get Aaron Rodgers. They get a future Hall of Famer, like I said, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. And then boom, it just sucked the life right out of that stadium. And the Jets has had a bad year after that, to say the least. So they put all their eggs in that Aaron Rodgers basket. They banked on it. They were one of the Super Bowl favorites before they even played a game. And that's sometimes it happens. Injuries, it's unfortunate circumstances. Injuries happen, and it happened to Aaron Rodgers, like I said, 4 plays into the game, and first game of the year, and then just in the flash of their eyes, just boom, gone. And now their season was basically over. They try to stay competitive for a little bit, but without good quarterback play, they weren't close. Great day, a really good defense, running game, they had receivers, but their quarterback play was way below average and terrible, actually. And Aaron Rodgers, he was supposedly going to be that missing piece, but now we won't know until maybe next season. So he's supposedly he's recovered from this Achilles, which I don't know how. He just did it in September, and he was back practicing in November. Like, what? Wait, how? Usually Achilles takes 9 to 12 months just for recovery alone, getting back into anything competitive. But Aaron Rodgers, I who knows what he did, but yeah, that was a big story heading into this year in 2023. All right, I want to get into now. Let's slide into, like I said, there's so many stories. Like I said, I got notes on notes. I'm gonna try to get through all of these too. So I want to get into the growth of women's sports, which you guys all know that follow me on social media, follow me covering sports and media, things like that. I'm a big proponent of women's sports and the growth of it. I interview so many different talented women in sports and media. I'm a big advocate for it, and trying to just share their stories, share their growth, trying to be a small so just a small help platform, I should say, with helping women's this growth of women's sports. And the growth of women's sports has come tremendous over the last few years, and deservedly so. But we gotta go with LSU and Iowa and the NCAA women's basketball uh, March Madness from this past season in 2023, and LSU beating Iowa in the NCAA Women's Championship, winning against Angel Reese and all those in LSU, beating Caitlin Clark and stars. It was just stars on top of stars. The Final Four itself, South Carolina, and it was that tournament. The women's tournament was way more exciting than the men's tournament of this last season. And just to put it on the perspective of how much of the growth it was the most watched women's college basketball game to date today. 9.9 million viewers watched that game with LSU beating Iowa. Like I said, it stars. Angel Reese became a mega star. Caitlin Clark, mega star. And I can't wait to see them in the WNBA, and we're gonna get into the WNBA and their growth as well. Yeah, 9.9 million viewers watched that game, that championship game that was on. It was on ABC, and I always say when it comes to everybody keeps saying how can we help women watching it, networks investing in it, and if you guys heard me all this whole year, it's about investing in women's sports. Invest, invest, invest. That's with TV networks or sponsorships and things like that. Because if people will watch, people like to watch competitive sports. People like to watch competition, and if you put it on networks where people can actually watch it on like on ABC, not just ESPN, but on ABC, NBC, CBS, whatever the major networks, streaming sites, Amazon and uh, Apple, all the anything like you put it on there, people will watch because it just shows. Look at almost 10 million viewers were watching the NCAA Women's Championship. So big shout out to the NCAA women's sports in general, volleyball, like big viewership, big numbers, fans just coming out of everywhere just watching. So everyone continue to keep supporting women's sports. We have the WNBA, which I was got a chance to get some credentials, go to the draft, and interview during the WNBA season, WNBA finals. I got to do some media. That was great for me and the brand itself. So I got to do a lot of Zoom interviews from Sabrina Ionescu to Asia Wilson. So I think all these big names, Brianna Stewart. So I got an opportunity to do some media work for the WNBA, interview them on Zoom, interview them, Leah Boston at the WNBA draft. So that to me. I really enjoyed that. I hope I get an opportunity to do that this next season. But the WNBA, a great season. Viewership across ABC, ESPN, ESPN2 was up 18% from last season, averaging over 440,000 viewers per game. That's huge. It was the best regular season. That was the best regular season numbers in 17 years. So the WNBA had a great year, and there was so many great storylines with Brittany Griner, her comeback. On top of that, you had retirements. You did have retirements from last season with some of the greatest players like a Sue Bird. From that, the Vegas Aces winning back-to-back championship. Asia Wilson proving to be the best player in the league, and putting her resume together is arguably going to go down as one of the greatest women's basketball players to ever be out there. She back to back, and you had the New York Liberty, who the Aces beat in the championship. So the viewership of the WNBA finals was very high. And like I said, if you haven't checked out WNBA, please do so. Like, the games were competitive. The season was tremendous. Like I said, it was a lot of great storyline, a lot of great talent as well. Superstars on top of superstars on top of superstars, and that's what we need. CJ says, in his opinion, Sue Bird is the greatest WNBA player of all time. Arguably, yes. Arguably, Sue Bird is. I still got Cynthia Cooper as my favorite women's basketball player ever, who I think is the greatest. But you could, I mean, we could do a whole thing on the greatest WNBA players because Diana Taurasi and Candace Parker to Cheryl Swoops to there's so many names, Lisa Leslie. So I mean Maya Moore, like the list goes on and on and on when it comes to who's the greatest women's basketball player ever. So I mean, I got that's just a handful of who I think as some of the greatest. And Sue Bird, of course, definitely. So yeah, but yeah, the WNBA, everyone keep investing, keep watching. But that was another big story of 2023 in sports and media. Just to I'm going to go off on some other big highlights for 2023. We got the NFL Sunday Ticket was bought by now they're on YouTube TV from DirecTV. They've had 1.3 million signups, so that's huge. The numbers over what NFL Sunday Ticket had 1.2, so big. That was big for YouTube TV on the business side of it. Getting the NFL Sunday Ticket. They have the where you can watch 4 games at one time. You have that. F1, that was a big story. The Las Vegas Grand Prix, 4 nights, over 300,000 spectators in Vegas, record revenue there. I was watching a little bit of that. That was a huge story. I'm going to go back. I want to get to baseball as well, where the Texas Rangers won the World Series this year. That was, their first. And the Oakland A's, possible move to Vegas due to low attendance. And I mean, if you look at the Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, with this past couple of years, especially last year in baseball with the Oakland A's, there was hardly nobody at their games. So now, fans try to show up when there was talk about them moving to Vegas. It's not a done deal, but there's a plan and deal in place. So Oakland losing their team, the A's losing their team, just like the Raiders lost their team to Vegas. Now the A's could be losing their team to Vegas. So that was a big story. So be on the lookout for that in the next year or two. Like I said, a plan's in place and there's been a promise, but it's not official yet. But it looks like the Oakland A's will be moving to Las Vegas. Another baseball news earlier in the year, we had the World Baseball Classic and finals, which was teammates, now former teammates, Shohei Ohtani for Team Japan went up against Mike Trout for Team USA. Now their former teammates played, for the Angels. It was a 9th inning strikeout or Shohei Ohtani, and you couldn't even script that. That's something that's like out of a movie where you got the 2 teammates going against each other and a baseball at the World Baseball Classic. Like that was like a script out of a movie. Pitcher versus hitter, one of the best hitters, pure hitters over the last 10 years. And Shohei Ohtani, two-way, one of the best players, if not the best player in baseball today, two-way player, pitching and hitting, and battling against each other, facing off against each other, 9th inning, and Shohei Ohtani strikes him out to win the World Baseball Classic Championship. And that led into him, Shohei Ohtani, with signing with the Dodgers over the past, 3 weeks ago, 10 years, $700 million. Let me say that again, slowly. 10 years, $700 million. It's the largest contract in North American sports history. $700 million for 10 years. He's getting $70 million a year. So Shohei Ohtani has gotten paid. He's the highest paid athlete in North American history, sports history. I mean, goodness, 700 million. Like I thought, like when Patrick Mahomes got, it was 500 million. And Canelo Alvarez, he had got 400 million or 300 something million. Now you look at those contracts that were a few years ago being trumped tremendously by Shohei Ohtani by 700 million. You know, Bryce Harper, I think he signed a $400 million deal, and so I mean these athletes are getting paid, and Shohei Ohtani he really broke the market with that deal. So hey, get your money, man, get your money. But that was a big story. Oh, can't forget about this. You can't forget about this. Coco Gauff. Let's go to tennis. Coco Gauff, 19-year-old sensation. You can see in the background. Coco Gauff. I got Deion Sanders. You don't see it in the picture, but I got they had the sports media layoffs, and then we had the LSU Angel Reese having her ring finger saying "Got my ring" and doing "You Can't See Me" against Caitlin Clark. That was a whole big thing, but they won her trash talk doing that, doing the John Cena "You Can't See Me" gestured right to her because Caitlin Clark was doing it all season. So kind of backfired, and Angel Reese went right back at her with it. But let's talk about Coco Gauff here. I know Instagram you can't really see it, but I got it in my background. Coco Gauff on that side, on that side there, the picture. Coco Gauff, the 19-year-old phenom sensation in tennis. This is what with the season she had. She had lost at Wimbledon, the major, in the first round. Now there's Coco Gauff, teenager. Just like when tennis comes up, everybody's being compared to Serena Williams and Venus Williams, and who's going to be the next Venus and Serena. There's not going to be another Serena. There's not going to be another Venus, but there's always those comparisons, and I don't like that either. And I'm sure the athletes don't like it, but Coco Gauff, tremendous talent, got far, and everyone was like, okay, this might be the year. This might be the year. She lost at Wimbledon in the first round in very disappointing fashion. Made the adjustments, and then there was all this talk about, oh, will Coco Gauff get over the hump? And I'm like, she's 19 years old. Can we? My thing is like, can we pump the brakes sometimes? I'm not gonna go on a tangent on a rant. That's for another show. But can we stop when someone comes in and has some success that we automatically say, oh, they're the best. We got to get them like immediately. Like let them grow into their game. Let them grow into their what their talent is, and then when they start winning at then we could just start saying, okay, they're this. Let them get there first. All this hype sometimes, and it sometimes it does derail their confidence and things like that. So, but Coco Gauff, like shit, and everybody was sort of writing her off, like, oh, maybe she won't be this, maybe she won't be that. It's like she was only 19 years old. Let's like, yeah, okay. But anyway, 19 years old, lost at Wimbledon. She made adjustments. This just shows how much awareness she has, or just how much she gets it. She knows. She hears the chatter. She hears the the naysayers, and she hears all that. It's almost like she doesn't have more pressure. Like she knows she's got pressure. She knows that she's working hard and all those things. So makes adjustments. Takes that we think over the summer going into the U.S. Open, and she's got to deal with this people talking, media and fans and naysayers and all these things, just people talking. And she said, okay, I know what I need to do. Her parents were her coaches, so she basically just shifted them. They're still in her camp, still in they're her parents, her mom and dad. And her dad even said himself, maybe my voice is not the voice you need to continue to progress, continue to get better. And her dad decided he was going to take a step back and let's bring some coaches in. Let's bring other coaches and different voices in. And Coco Gauff was okay with that. Her parents were okay with that. She made the adjustments, got some other coaches, and then won her first major. Came in and was the talk of the U.S. Open. Came in, did her thing, and won her first major. So congratulations to Coco Gauff. I did a whole show on this because it was just so good to see her and do it in a way where she was dominant in so many stretches on the women's side, and you you always saw the ability, saw the talent, and she put it all together and won her first major. So, and now that she has that first one, winning the U.S. Open, she's heading into this next season, which the Australian Open, I think, is in a couple weeks, ready to go on a run. And I feel like Coco Gauff has the, like I said, has the talent, has the game, and only getting better. So, like I said, it's 19 going to 20, just getting old. She's just 19 years old and still has so many years. How many years? Whenever how many years it is, I'm looking forward to seeing what Coco Gauff has in store over the next 5, 10 years, and I hope and pray that she has a great and tremendous long career, health free career. So look out for Coco Gauff. We also had another youngster on the men's side, uh, Carlos Alcaraz, 20 years old. He beat arguably the greatest player in tennis on the men's side, Novak Djokovic. He beat him at Wimbledon, where Djokovic is mostly almost unbeatable there in Wimbledon, kind of like Nadal at the French on clay, basically unbeatable. So Alcaraz winning at 20 years old, the young phenom himself winning that and beating Djokovic on that surface was a great year for him. And that's his second major. So tennis is in good hands, even with Federer retiring, Serena retiring last season, uh, Venus Williams. I'm not sure if she's retired or not because she's still going, even though she's not like the results are not what they were, but on the verge, on the back end of her career. But there's so much great young talent on both sides of the men's and women's tennis. I think that's needs to be. Yeah, you're a big tennis fan. The future is very, very bright on both sides, and by with these two, with Carlos Alcaraz and Coco Gauff on both sides, on the men's and women's side, I think tennis is in good shape. So that was a big story. All right, let's go to boxing. One of the biggest stories in boxing was we finally got that super fight with between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr., which was been talked about for the last few years, and we finally got two of the best boxers, pound for pound boxers, in their prime. We didn't have to wait 5, 6, 7 years later, like the Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, who they were both past their prime, fighting, and it wasn't a great fight. But this we end up getting, and I think all boxing fans thought this would be a close fight, but it wasn't. Terrence Crawford put on a masterclass and beat down Errol Spence and really like put a clinic on him. And I was not. I mean, I just say I was a little surprised. I had Errol Spence winning by decision, a close decision. That was my prediction. But man, Crawford just was on another level when it came to in this fight, and he just showed like he's a step above Errol Spence. And that was, like I say, he put on that master class and won by TKO in the ninth round. So that was huge, and it was big pay per view numbers because, like I said, one of the most anticipated fights over the last 2, 3 years. They finally made it happen. I'm glad they made it happen. There was a lot of big fights in boxing this past year. So this in 2023. So yeah, but this was the fight, and Crawford really put it on Errol Spence, like I said, winning in TKO fashion in the ninth round. A couple others got to shout out the Vegas Golden Knights winning their first Stanley Cup. The Denver Nuggets winning their first NBA title. Nikola Jokic, tremendous year he had. He didn't win MVP. Joel Embiid won MVP, deservedly so. And we talked about that. Jokic versus Embiid. Who do you prefer? Who's the better player, better center? But Jokic, what he did in the playoffs, averaging a triple double, close to a triple double, and then lead into the finals as they beat the Miami Heat. And so I talked about Texas Rangers winning the World Series. LeBron James, this was big in 2023, becoming the all-time scoring leader over surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the scoring, and LeBron still going strong in his 20th season as well. That was huge story. So LeBron still playing at such a high level. Kareem held that scoring record for the most points, career points, for 39 years. I didn't think that would ever be broken. That's one of those records you look back and say, how 39 years you hold a record for that long? That's never going to be broken. But LeBron did it, and he's just adding to his Hall of Fame career. So the LeBron, that was a huge thing. I think I named the ones there was so many different stories here. I think I named everything. Yeah, Kizzy Cheese. Yeah, I think. I don't think there's some that are missing, but these were some of the biggest stories I thought of the year. And I gotta say one of the biggest stories of 2023 was it's interesting how this was a sports story too, but Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce being a couple took over not just sports, but took over the news cycles. It took over, like Fox News and CNN and Taylor Swift going to me, it was like, yeah, Taylor Swift, one of the biggest superstars in the world, dating Travis Kelce, Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl champion for the Kansas City Chiefs, became a story. And then now with the NFL mixing with Taylor Swift, who's coming off one of the biggest concerts in history. And, like I said, she's one of the biggest names in entertainment. Became a big story. In sports, and broadcasters were using her songs and her song lyrics. And it got people mad, got people upset. But NFL thought, and the broadcasters thinking, we're going to use it now. I think it got overboard. Yeah, I think it got really overboard. Okay, Taylor Swift she's coming to games. She's dating Travis Kelce. Great. Okay, that's how I see it. So it's like, cool. But that was a big story. So that was one of the biggest stories of the year in 2023. Oh, can't forget, I got to go track and field as well. I think track and field, yeah, the comeback of Sha'Carri Richardson, who wasn't able to compete in the 2020 Olympics because of suspension, but came back, took that year off, came back, and in the World Championships this year, won 3 medals, 2 gold. So big shout out to her. Noah Lyles, who was the track and field athlete of the year. He won 3 gold. He won in the 100, 200, and the 4x1. So he dominated there. So Noah Lyles and Sha'Carri Richardson's comeback, that was a big story. Like I said, Sha'Carri, she won bronze at the 200. She won the 100, and they won the 4x1. She got the gold in the 4x1 as well. So be on the lookout for those names heading into the 2024 Olympics. That was a big story. And yeah, what a year. That's the year in review, the recap of 2023 in sports and media. So much headlines and storylines this year. So it was a great year. Like I say, when I had to go back and do some research for this, and you forget, like when going during the year, those first 11 months, you're thinking, oh yeah, this happened. This happened at the beginning of the year. This happened at the beginning in March. This happened, and for like there's just so much because you said it's just a never ending cycle when it comes to the when it comes to this sports and things like that. So, but those are my uh, biggest stories of the year. So, since it is the end of the year, and I want to just give a few thanks first. I want to thank first foremost thank God always first and foremost for giving me the platform, giving me the voice, and to do this. Without him, I can't do this without him. So that's the first thing of the year, having a great, another good year with the podcast. So that goes without saying. God first, as always. Second, I got to thank my wife, Christina Harden, who's always been my support and my manager, but always having my back throughout, even when I don't, sometimes have those days I don't want to put out any content, but she gives me that motivation, that push, and she continues to push me until that. So, really, really got to give her the utmost credit for motivating me and to keep me going, keep me motivated, keep me pushing. Next, the BS3 network, my family as well, but the BS3 network for always giving me the platform to be able to do this and continue to just put out the best content I can each and every week. So big shouts to them. And then lastly, it's the fans, it's you guys, it's the the viewers and the fans and the ones that just come across my page, my content, who like the guests that I've had. I've had so many guests. I can't even shout out all you guys who I've had on the show. It's been another tremendous year, and I'm looking forward to even in the new year in 2024. But without you guys who just like the page, share it, subscribe, all those things, I'm so grateful and thankful for all those. Like I said, all my guests that's been on the show as well. So I'd like to thank all you guys. So, but yeah, that's a wrap. That is the last episode of 2023. Thank you once again to those who supported, commented, all those things as well. Check out all the past episodes on all you got audio and video on my Instagram page, on Facebook, on my Twitter page, the audio with Google and Spotify and Spreaker and Anchor and iHeartRadio. We're on all the platforms. The Roku channel, BS3 TV app on Roku, and everywhere. Thank you again. I hope everyone has a great and safe New Year. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Hope you enjoy the new year. Looking forward to what's in store for 2024. I got a lot of updates, a lot of news, a lot of more opportunities. So be on the lookout for those announcements coming up for the Real Deal podcast moving forward in 2024, and for the BS3 network moving in 2024. Some opportunities have come up, but we'll announce that when the time is right. Well, like I said, covering games and covering sporting events and some travel. So be on the lookout for all those announcements. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. But I hope everyone, continues to support, continues to enjoy the content more and bigger and better. We're going to be bigger and better in 2024. Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you again. Continue to be safe. Continue, thank you for all the love and support. Again, be safe out there. Until next time, as always, first, God bless and peace.